Use your powers for evil,
Your evil is mine.
Charles Skaggs.
I'm Jesse Jackson.
He's Jesse Jackson, my partner in crime and my partner in time. And welcome to episode 64, everybody. We're trying to streamline everything as we try to use MP3 Skype recorder instead of Zencastr. So we'll see how this goes today.
Yes.
I'm hopeful because I know Jesse seems to work okay with it. And we worked pretty well with the Phantom Zone podcast yesterday, so fingers crossed, everybody. But Charles Skaggs here, and with my partner in crime, Jesse. And today we are going to talk Death and the Queen, and which is the third and final of the, hopefully not final, but the third in the current series of 10th Doctor audio adventures from Big Finish Productions. So, go ahead.
I just was going to say, and it was a fun one. This was good stuff.
So my forecast of that you would appreciate this one a little more than Time Reaver was pretty on the money, hopefully.
Absolutely. And as we get to it closer, a lot of nice dialogue. It was a good story. It kind of fit well. You had a little more than just the character play, but you didn't have such a complicated story that you're like, okay, what's going on? So, yeah.
Yeah. I thought this was a great romp and a great showcase for Catherine Tate.
I totally agree.
I thought this obviously, I think the story centers more around Donna in this story. I mean, obviously the Doctor plays a big part, but mostly it's pretty much Donna-centric. And I think she takes the ball, runs with it, and does a great job. But go ahead.
I agree because, I've been on the record that I'm warming up to Donna. Slowly but surely, Charles is wearing me down.
Hey, don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, actually, Charles is okay with whatever I do. We just like to pick at each other.
Yeah.
But she was funny in this episode. She was smart. She was charming. It was, I think, as you said, this is, I think, one of her best episodes, period, including the stuff on TV and this one. I really thought she shined.
Okay, so this is one of your favorite Donna stories.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. That sounds great. All right, so let's kind of get into the general overview a little bit. Basically, this story is about Donna and the Doctor. They end up going to this casino in the French Riviera in the 1780s. And while they're in this casino, Donna meets this guy. And she's trying to ask him how roulette works. And the guy says he's the Crown Prince Rudolph from Goritania. And the Doctor's really puzzled by this because he's like, Goritania? I've never heard of Goritania.
Yeah, that was great.
So obviously this is the mystery. And then there's this romance that develops between Donna and Rudolph. And they end up, the basic gist of this is that Donna ends up becoming, or at least possibly becoming, Queen of Goritania.
Yes. And
we're pretty much off to the races.
We are, and it's it has a great beginning. So Charles, one day when I have extra time on my hand, I think I'm going to do a research paper on the 10th Doctor and horses. That seems to be a thing.
Yes, it does.
With Tennant's Doctor, that he interacts with horses more than most other doctors.
Yeah, he even starts off this episode riding a horse toward the castle.
Exactly. I mean,
and he has this, like, there's a bit where he's, like, using a sonic screwdriver for horseshoes. And he's all excited. He's like, oh, I've got this new horseshoe setting.
Yeah, it is almost like, oh, I have a new app.
Yeah.
It's that same excitement. And that was just so awesome.
So there's some really interesting guest stars in this episode. So before we get into the discussion, I did want to mention them. First and foremost has to be Alice Krige as the Queen Mum, and you may, as a Star Trek fan, you should be somewhat familiar with Alice Krige.
Oh, she was one of the Borg Queens, right?
She was actually the Borg Queen.
Yes.
The Borg Queen.
One of the actresses who played a Borg Queen, right?
Yeah, but she's the major one because she was in Star Trek First Contact.
Right.
So she's the, like, preeminent Borg Queen. Not so much the one on Voyager,
Right.
But this is the major one.
Right.
And so, big star for Doctor Who.
Nice.
And so that's kind of cool. You got a nice little Star Trek connection to Doctor Who here. She's also been in some, she was in the Fourth Doctor audio story for Big Finish called Phantoms of the Deep.
Okay.
So if you're a fan of hers, you might want to check that one out. Some other guest stars were Beth Chalmers, who plays Donna's handmaiden or maid,
right?
Hortense, and she's been all over Big Finish. She's a major Big Finish voice actor.
Player. Okay,
and she primarily is known for this Seventh Doctor audio companion named Rain Creevy.
Okay,
who was in this series of, like, lost Seventh Doctor stories. There was, like, an original season 26 or season 27 that was from the original series that the showrunner they were never able to film, so they kind of, like, took the scripts that he was working on and kind of reworked them for Big Finish audio. And so there was, like, 4 of them, so they made, like, a little minute season of this. And so you kind of got, like, a little bonus Sylvester McCoy season. And,
nice.
And Rain Creevy was this companion that was added to Ace, like, along with Ace. So there's, like, the Seventh Doctor had 2 companions at once there for a little while. And she did a really good job. But you, Jesse, might remember her as playing Veclin in the War Doctor, the second War Doctor set.
Oh, okay, very nice.
That kind of gung-ho, Gallifreyan,
right,
military type person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
so you might remember her. And then there was an actor named Alan Cox who played Death. And he's famous for the simple fact that he's the son of actor Brian Cox.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So,
He's been in a little bit of everything.
He was actually in Doctor Who. He played one of that, like, those Ood elders in the End of Time.
Yeah.
The one that was kind of doing the, like, mind link with the 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
They're in that little circle of Ood, that...
Right.
They were having their little... I don't want to say a ritual, but basically they were trying to... The Ood were trying to give the Doctor a warning about the Master. So that guy. And he was like the big bad guy in X-Men 2, X-Men United.
Yes.
That guy.
Right.
So Alan Cox is that guy's son.
Okay.
And he's been in some other Big Finish audios. He was in this story called The Roof of the World, which was a 5th Doctor audio. And the Antimatter, and that's Auntie, Auntie Matter.
Okay.
Which was a 4th, so it was a pun. So it's a 4th Doctor and Romana story. So that was pretty cool. So some interesting guest stars. So I just wanted to mention those before we get going.
Good.
All right. So let's dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is the Doctor's heartbreak. And so this is basically our excuse to talk about the 10th Doctor, and specifically he's got some emotions here about companions leaving him that he just brings up during this discussion because it looks, for as far as the doctor is concerned, that Donna may be leaving him.
So to give a little bit of feedback to our listeners, I just went on a trip to Springsteen, the Vatican, Mecca.
Take a drink.
Yeah. Yes, I flew to New York on Wednesday.
I was curious how you're going to work that in.
Had a great trip, but I listened to this episode on the way there and then the way back and then listened to it a little bit more today. And so I do not have as many handwritten notes because I'm on the plane. I've put a few notes there. But I specifically listened today. I started about chapter 5 or 6 and listened to the end again because I specifically wanted to hear the doctor's kind of monologue crying out loud to himself about companions.
Right.
I think it was really well done, and it wasn't too...
maudlin?
Yes, that's exactly. Because at times, Matt Smith would play things a little maudlin, the 11th Doctor. And though I love me some Matt Smith, okay, all you Matt Smith fans, don't send hate mail to Jesse. But I thought it was just kind of a matter of the fact. Mm-hmm. Just when I think they're going to stay with me forever, they leave.
Right. And
they're gone. And it was, I thought, a really nice change of pace for a quote-unquote audio adventure to have something of that depth, of that almost canon of talking about, made it more of the series in connection.
Right.
What did you think?
Well, I agree, but they also kind of played a little bit for laughs because if you remember, Donna is trying to tell him something, and he just keeps prattling on because it's the 10th Doctor. He won't shut his gob.
Yes.
And just, me, blah, 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 blah. And Donna's like, listen, idiot. I'm trying to tell you something. And he's just, he's just wrapped up in himself and like, woe is me. The companions are leaving me.
And, that's a common trope that someone's, like way back to Animal House, which is not that long, but, Germans bomb Pearl Harbor. Don't stop him. He's on a roll.
He's rolling. Yeah.
Well, I hate to break it to you.
I hate to break it to you, Jesse. That movie's like 40 years old now. So,
it's hard for it to say, back in the old when it's only 78, 79, I guess. So
it's 2016, almost 40 years. I hate to break it to you. Yes,
absolutely. I tend to think of John Ford and movies made in the 30s and 40s or classic.
All right, so we'll just give that one a hand wave.
Yes, indeed.
And anyone that's not younger than a Gen Xer will be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I did not see a phone booth, but I did see phone. Payphones on the streets in New York, and I went, wow, you don't see a lot of those anymore on the streets anywhere.
Nope.
So, yes.
And I still didn't know how Superman was going to change into those.
Yeah, I don't know either, yes.
But
that's an old classic.
That is a reference to the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because there's a great little gag about that.
Yes.
Okay. We talked... Now... anything else about the 10th Doctor you want to talk about in this segment here? Because
we already talked about the horses.
He had some good scenes with Hortense. He was almost like he was auditioning her as Donna's replacement.
Yeah,
and Donna kind of got wind of that a little bit. She got a little like, "Hey, what are you doing here, Sparky?"
If I had any complaint about the episode, is they hung a lantern a little too brightly on this flag. There's some kind of text on this flag. Boy, that text on that flag must be important. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that text on the flag. And it's a minor quibble because I think if you were if you're with an audio drama, if one of your clues is a visual text.
Exactly. You have to kind of
How
remind
else you-
the
yes,
audience. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up that point because it is a visual MacGuffin.
Right. Yes.
So you have to kind of remind the audience, oh yeah, that flag thing. Pay attention to that.
Right.
But no, really,
Exactly.
pay attention to it.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. All right. So, and there was a nice little bit with the doctor and Donna. I thought right there at the end where Donna asked the doctor about whether she would be a good queen, or if she was a good queen, and the doctor says she's brilliant, and then they end the episode with Donna's like, "Your Majesty." Oh yes, Your Majesty. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, you get the 10th Doctor apologizing again because he has to say sorry. He always says sorry.
Yes, it was really well done, and kind of jumping ahead.
Right.
But since you're bringing it up, the whole, and you know what the worst part is? You proved the doctor right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was just, it wasn't irritating. It was just really charming about, because we've all been with, and when I say relationship, I don't mean a romantic relationship. You've always had a friendship or something where you go, what, really?
Yeah.
Why are you, now you've proved him right. And so that was just lovely.
Yeah, it's about the worst thing, he's going to be insufferable now because he was right about something.
Right.
Yeah. One other thing I forgot that I loved was the doctor confronting death.
Yes.
Like he was just like, "Oh, I've been waiting forever," and we've had a couple of close calls, but here we are. Finally got to meet you. So he was almost like geeked about it, or at least acting like he's geeked about it.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny.
Yeah, I think so too. Yes.
All right, so let's get into our next segment. Donna and the Queen, Mum. So Donna and the Queen Mum don't quite. They're kind of like oil and water, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Which makes some great comedic moments.
Yeah, you always let me go first because you're driving. So do you need to go first, or am I okay?
No. Go right ahead.
Okay.
I think you've got something about this one, I'm guessing.
I love, first off, I love the back and forth. I think they did enough job of telling you something's not on the up and up. Like you suspected, I wonder if she's a sacrificial lamb. I mean, I thought that enough. And not because I'm so smart. I think they wanted you to know that. At least that's what I feel. I got that feeling. And I thought the Donna explaining to the doctor how amazing her life is, cut with how crappy it really is.
Mm-hmm. Well, she doesn't want to admit to the doctor that she made a bad decision.
Yeah, and that's so human, right?
Yeah.
We're just like,
oh no, everything's great. She pulls out the stereotypical woman response. Oh, I'm fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And it was awesome.
Which, as any guy knows, when a woman says she's fine, she's not fine.
Exactly. Yes.
So that should throw up a ton of red flags. But of course, the doctor is always clueless about this.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And so, Donna and the Queen Mom just don't get along. The Queen Mom takes an immediate dislike to her.
Yes.
Because the Queen Mom is telling Rudolph that, oh no, that's not going to happen. That marriage is not going to happen. And then go ahead.
And what I don't understand is the way the Queen knows what they're going to use with Donna.
Yeah.
So you would think she would have been sweet and nice to her, but instead, I not even bothered. I love the tablecloth. You should have checked with me. For everyone who's ever been micromanaged at a boss by a boss, you're like, really? Really? That was awesome.
Yeah, she's one of those like evil bride moms that
Yes,
the monk
absolutely.
that just has to control everything. Like if you've ever watched Say Yes to the Dress.
Yes.
Because I know this only because my wife Lori watches the show to death. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she's
I
watched.
think I've seen one or two of them. So yes.
She's watched a jillion of these, and there's usually like 50% of the time there's like the bride's mom is just trying to control the situation and putting the bride down at the same time, and it's just painful to watch.
Yeah.
So here, there's like a later exchange between Donna and the Queen Mum where the Queen Mum is all pissed off that Donna brought these peasants inside for safety inside the castle. Like, how dare you? That kind of thing. And Donna, because she keeps going on, the Queen Mum just keeps going on about this stupid coronation, and and planning everything like there's nothing going on. Like as Donna points out, like I can't believe you're going on about this with Stormzilla outside.
Yeah. It is. First off, I loved how Donna took the initiative, and
yeah, Donna was great. She was really great. She really stepped up.
She did, and she really took.
She was because Rudolph was no help.
No, and she really, I felt,
and she cared for the people.
Yeah, she took the initiative of being, these are my people, the queen.
Yep.
Really, really good.
Seriously, she took it seriously.
Yeah, she did, and so I loved it.
Yeah, and it just kind of showed you that in this case, Donna was very noble. See what I did there?
I love it. Thank you.
Yes. An obvious pun, I know, but she was. Yeah, I thought it was great that she stepped up like that. Just kind of shows you how good of a character she is when she's written properly.
Yes, I think so, and really nailed the comedy and the drama, and a very independent, strong-willed character. Right.
She doesn't roll over.
No.
And she's willing to take the sacrifice.
Yes.
Which is another noble situation. I know, but I keep bringing that up. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
But it is that she's willing to self-sacrifice for the greater good.
Yeah, it was, and
she wasn't looking out for herself. She was looking like, okay, well, I guess this is how it has to be because I got to protect these people.
And it's always, I think, an interesting thought, of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few,
right,
as we throw in a Star Trek reference. If you get, if you truly are, there are, quote unquote, small letter gods that if you do a sacrifice to and you get this, safety and happiness. I just reread American Gods. And
I gotta do that myself because of the TV show coming up.
That's exactly why I did it, and I'm like, oh, I love this even more.
Yeah.
But they have that where the small god is in that really perfect village, and the car on the ice, and I just think, I thought that was an interesting premise, and of course, usually when the story is being told, we're on the side of the one victim, that go like, oh, it's not fair. Better the whole city go to heck in a handbasket than we kill this one innocent person. And it's easy to go that way when it's in fiction, but you wonder in reality, based on who's running for president, would the current, climate,
I think that's a coin flip at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is. Unfortunately, it is. But another thing I liked about with Donna in this episode was her relationship with her maid, specifically Hortense.
Yes.
Donna is. to her credit, I mean, she relates to the common person because she is that person. She identifies.
Yes.
She's a temp. She's not like a bigwig. And she gets along better with the maids than she does, I think, her would-be husband and his mother.
Yes.
So that I think that speaks a lot of Donna as well.
I think so also, and she was teaching them to read and write, even though it was,
she's reading Jackie Collins of all things.
Which I think is awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Only knows how history was altered by that, but
yes, absolutely.
We'll find out. But
right.
Okay. Let's move on to a segment I thought charmingly.
Yes.
Maybe not so charmingly, but I call it Mephistopheles are their name, or Mephistoles are their name.
Yes.
But we know what they're up to just the same, which is a reference to a police song called Wrapped Around Your Finger. You may have heard of it. It's kind of a big hit. But
yes.
It's a reference to a line there that goes, Mephistopheles is not your name. I know what you're up to just the same. So, yeah, I couldn't resist tweaking that a little bit.
I understand, by the way.
Apologies for the horrible singing, but there you go.
No, it was fine. By the way, cross-promotion. The little upstart podcast that I started with a couple of friends of mine called How Many, available in the Southgate Media Group, where we pick a pop culture figure and we debate on how many significant contributions. The latest one is on the Police.
Very nice.
And we talked about, and we said, okay, we're not going to include Sting's solo work. We're just going to talk about how many quote unquote hits.
Well, they had a pretty good number.
Yeah, that's what and so we go through each album and discuss.
Because they only had 5 albums, unless you count the Greatest Hits album,
right?
Which only had one new song before they broke up.
Right.
But there were 5 really strong albums.
They were, and you should go listen to it.
And if you're gonna be a band, make 5 really good ones, and then
right,
bail out, and obviously history will remember you.
Yes, absolutely.
That's just my opinion, speaking as a Police fan.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, but the Mephistoles. So, new villain, new alien. We find out that these Mephistoles are apparently they're con men, according to the Doctor.
Yes.
That they're really good at developing perception filters. And that's obviously what drives this story, is that we find out that the reason Goritania has been able to have 500 years of peace is that because the Mephistoles have been blanketing the country with perception filter and kind of keeping it out of the way.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting.
Now it's not like they're not like. It's not like they're, like in a hidden dimension somewhere. They're just kind of hidden behind this filter. So,
right.
And then every so often they send out the would-be king or whatever to go out, get a bride, bring her back, and sacrifice her for more years of peace.
And did you understand what they got out of the sacrifice?
Well, they get the souls. They made this comment that that's the whole point of the sacrifice, is that they do this for these souls.
Right.
Now, what they do with the souls, who knows? But yeah, apparently that's what they want. They want souls.
Okay.
Peace in exchange for souls. That's their deal.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I think it's an interesting discussion of how far would you go to get peace.
Right.
And I think it's the prince was raised Rudolph, which is a horrible name, but
Prince Rudy.
Rudy. Yeah. Just, it seems to be, he has no concept. He's bought into it's for the greater good.
Right.
And like when he sends off the soldiers, okay, the flag is there and you're going to be wonderful, and Donna is just so crushed that he so callously sent that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice twist.
Well, it kind of shatters her whole ideal fantasy romance here.
Yes.
Because Donna was going in this going, oh, I met this really cute guy, and
Right.
guess what? He's a prince, so I can live out my little princess fantasy and become, or a
Yes.
queen or whatever. And he wants me and to be a queen in his country. How great is that? So it's like,
Yeah.
her Princess Diaries fantasy.
Absolutely.
And he basically turns out to be this just really horrible mommy's boy.
Such a mommy's boy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a great little bit with Donna where she tells both of them off, the Queen
Yes,
Mom
she
and
does.
Rudolph, which I thought was great. It's it's Donna standing up for herself, which is always great to see.
Absolutely.
Thought that was great. Okay, anything else about this episode you want to talk about?
Just I liked how Donna said at the end, like, if you grow a pair, call me.
Right.
To the prince. Their banter back and forth. It was just a really good story, and I think they brought them back. So, 2 out of 3 really good episodes in this trilogy, and I hope we get more.
Yeah, I do too. Unfortunately, we have no idea when there
Right.
will be more because there hasn't been any indication of when we're going to get more. Probably because we're waiting for David Tennant and Catherine Tate's schedules to line up.
Yes, exactly.
So who knows when that'll happen? But it'd be nice if, like, at least once a year we got a few episodes out of them.
I think it'd be nice.
I would be happy with that. I mean, obviously, you'd love to have more,
Right.
like the other Doctors. But if we get at least 3 episodes a year from them, I will be happy.
Yeah, I think that's really would be nice. I agree.
Yeah, and it would be great if Tennant maybe got to do some with, like, say, Freema Asiaman.
Yes, I would love another.
Get
Since
a little
Martha's
bit my
favorite.
Some more with the 10th Doctor and Martha. I think because it would be nice to have a few more stories with Martha. I agree. I think her character would benefit a lot from those, and
I think so too.
yeah. And maybe even Billy Piper if Christopher Eccleston's going to be Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. At
least it would give Billy Piper a chance to do some Big Finish audio.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
cool.
And I'm sure there'd be a lot of 10th Doctor and Rose fans that would just geek really hard about that one.
They would. Do you think?
Tumblr would light up.
Yes, it would.
All right. Yeah, let's see if there's anything else. Death, and let's see. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Because it was as you said, it was a pretty simple story.
Yeah, but good.
Yeah, relying on this royal standard with very small fine print to save the day.
Yeah, and how she put it in her underwear, and
that was the maids. The maids did that.
Yeah, the maids did. Yeah, it's just awesome.
But
yes.
Donna didn't know. I don't think Donna knew that.
I don't think so either. But I think she was willing.
She was willing to take the sacrifice. So she's like, "Oh, I'm not dead. How great is that?" Because I think she screamed. I think Donna screamed when Death came. Like when they finished that dance with her and Death, and I think there was a scream, and then all of a sudden, poof, Death's gone, and Donna's there. Is like, "Oh, I guess I'm okay."
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay, so with all this in mind, let's see. Do you have any favorite quotes? I know you were busy and you were on the plane.
Yeah.
Did you write any down?
I did not write any down. I know that that I'm gonna go. That I'm sure you've got some because I remember going, "Oh man, I should be able to write this down," but I didn't. It was there. It was a well-written episode, so please.
Okay.
Carry the slack for me, Charles.
All right. Well, before I get it, I do have some. Don't worry. I got you covered.
Okay, good.
I'm picking up your slack once again.
Thank you.
We'll get back to TV episodes. Maybe that'll be better.
I can give you a very quick review of the U.S. record-setting Springsteen concert.
Well, that would be great for set listing Bruce.
Yes, it will.
Maybe not so much for Next Stop Everywhere. But now, before we get into this, there was this one line that I want to mention. That there was where Donna's talking about like other weddings. Like this wedding in comparison to others, she's like, well, you know, not my worst, not my best, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you a pop quiz.
Didn't she say something about like, why is there always trouble at my weddings or something?
Yeah. But yeah, she's like, you know,
okay,
not my worst, not my best, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But my pop quiz to you: do you know the other weddings? And I'll give you a hint. There were 3.
Ooh. Well, the Runaway Bride is the obvious one first, right?
Yeah, that was to Lance Bennett. But yeah.
Okay.
So that's 1.
All right. So
what's number 2 and 3?
I'm
playing Stump the Jesse.
Yeah. I'm staying away from Google.
And this is new Who, so you should be, you should know
this
this stuff.
I'm trying to think. I'm getting confused. Yeah, so drawing a blank. So
okay, all right. So real quick. Okay. The second one is Forest of the Dead to Lee McAvoy. That guy, remember she was in when she was Donna Noble Has Been Saved.
Right. Okay.
And so she's in that kind of virtual reality. Inside,
yes, that's
Inside
right.
Cal, so she married that guy, Lee McAvoy. And then there was Sean Temple, the guy from The End of Time, who she actually gets married to. Remember, the doctor gives her the lottery ticket?
Right. Now, I wasn't going to count that one because...
No, that's a wedding,
yeah, but it hadn't happened to her yet during this episode.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only reason I didn't think of that. But I would not have remembered the Forest of the Dead one, and that's really true. That's awesome. Yeah.
So a little trivia question there. So
yeah, very nice. Very done.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
So as far as quotes go.
Yes.
All right. So first one I have is the 10th Doctor to the Queen Mum. Never tell Donna I said this, but some people almost aren't worth saving.
I did love that one, and
he says it really harshly and bitterly to her.
Yes, he does.
Like look, you're hanging by a thread here.
Yes. Yeah, that was well done.
That was good. And then there's quite a bit of exchange here. This one. This is where the Doctor's talking about companions, as we were discussing earlier. So I've got the exchange a little bit.
Okay.
So the Doctor starts off, no man's ever going to be good enough for my Donna, but yes, off you go. Every time one of you leaves, I'm not ready. I never am. You lot, every one of you a heartbreaker. And then Donna responds, that's why you've got 2 of them, stupid. Listen.
I did love that.
Listen,
yes.
And then he cuts her off right there and responds, I suppose, but it doesn't make it any easier. You all leave. Even the robot dog left me. Twice. And another thing. The universe just never gives me a break. A chance to lick my wounds, a spa day maybe, but oh no, giant cloud of alien death. Well, fine. I'll sort it out. One more thing, so many more things, never, never, never ends.
Yay, Charles. That was awesome.
Thank you. So, yeah, I love that little exchange. But, yeah, it's all doctor, and Don is like, dude, listen, shut up for a minute.
Yes, that was greatness.
Cool. And I got a couple more here. This one's Donna to the Doctor. I think it's to the Doctor. Maybe it's to somebody else. But she says, listen, I may have a pretty bumpy track record, but let's get one thing absolutely clear. Even I am not marrying death.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a lot of fun with the wedding part, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
I thought that was great. Yeah, Donna has obviously some great lines. Last one is a 10th Doctor quote. You must be death. I've always wanted to meet you. A couple of near misses, but finally.
Yeah. In fact, I thought it was really funny the way the 10th Doctor kind of oh, you've been searching for me and such. So it's really cool. Yeah, well done.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So what was your rating for this story? This last story of the 10th Doctor, for now at least.
So, Roulette, that's the name. Roulette, that's the game now. Roulette, I don't know what they're saying. Roulette, everyone's playing. Little Bruce Springsteen lyrics. I give this 9 games of Roulette.
Okay.
Which I'm surprised why they didn't know what Roulette was. I think
he did. He just didn't.
He didn't think, because he didn't know what it was because he is off-world, right? So that's why he was acting like they may not know it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 9 games of Roulette. I love this one.
Yeah, well, probably Donna didn't know it because, she's not the higher end. She's just a temp, so yeah, she probably doesn't travel in those circles, but
right.
Yeah. But I also gave this one 9. We're completely in sync in this week.
Yes.
I gave it 9 out of 10 smashed stained windows. Which is a reference to the Doctor smashing the windows so that the Queen Mum can see all the carnage going on outside as this giant cloud of alien death is foisting these army of skeletons to massacre the castles, Gortania's men, that they end up just getting sacrificed. And you've got Rudolph. He knows these guys are going to go off to die. Doesn't care. And I think that's one of the things that Donna points out. Like, dude, don't you care? These guys are going to die. This is just stupid.
And once again, we have a little bit of the Captain Kirk syndrome of changing someone's society, right? Like we talked about before, that this was working, but they picked the wrong girl to be queen.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the great thing about Doctor Who versus Star Trek. No prime directive.
That's right. Absolutely.
Just the occasional fixed point in time.
Absolutely.
But
yes.
Which is always pretty dubious anyway, because that always gets changed whenever the story needs to be.
Absolutely. Very convenient.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jesse.
I bet you have a reverse the polarity for us.
One of these days I'm not going to have one, just to see what your reaction.
That would be awesome. No, didn't have time this time.
Yep, sorry. I was leaving. I thought you would have it. But no, of course I've got one. We're going to reverse the polarity this week back to 1978.
Wow.
With the Androids of Tara.
Okay.
Now, this is the 4th serial in season 16 in 1978, also known as the Key to Time season.
Okay.
Where each story was part of this master arc, overarching storyline called the Key to Time, where each episode, the 4th Doctor and Romana would go to an alien planet to try to recover a segment of the Key to Time, which is this very powerful device.
Yeah.
And each week they kind of help put it together, so by the season's end, it's put together. But and the key segments were scattered throughout space and time, and kind of hidden in disguised as various objects. So you couldn't just go oh, there's the Key to Time. You would have to use this little detector to find it. Like
Horcruxes.
Yeah, exactly. Like Horcruxes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Horcruxes. Great analogy. Which again came after this. So
absolutely, yes.
J.K. Rowling, you have you got some explaining to do.
And I'm sure she grew up a Doctor fan.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Just room of requirement. Just saying. But
yes.
Is it bigger on the inside? I think so.
Absolutely.
Anyway. All right. So this story, The Androids of Tara. This is written by David Fisher. And we have the 4th Doctor and the first Romana, not the Romana you've seen in City of Death, but the prior Romana, played by Mary Tam, arrive on the planet Tara in search of the 4th segment to the Key to Time, and for once, their quest is simple. While the Doctor goes fishing, Romana easily identifies and transforms the 4th segment to the Key to Time, which was disguised as part of a statue. Okay. Now, all great and good, but what happens? Of course, something else, because she ends up getting attacked by this Terran wood beast, and only gets saved by this nobleman, Count Grendel of Gracht. So we've got a noble count who takes the injured Romana back to his castle. So we've got castle connotations going on.
Okay.
And Grendel believes that Romana is an android identical to his captive, Princess Stella. So this is kind of like a medieval society that also has android technology. So it's kind of like a hybrid of eras here on this alien world. And the evil count wants Romana as Strella to marry the king. So we got a marrying of a king involved.
Okay.
The king, of course, will then be killed, leaving Grendel free to take Romana's hand and be declared the legitimate king of Tara.
Okay.
Now, Romana, of course, is not down with this. She ends up forced because Strella is used as a hostage to make her go along with this really stupid scheme. The Doctor ends up, obviously a lot of things happen. The Doctor ends up reaching this throne room in time, just in the nick of time, of course, because it's the Doctor, to stop Romana's marriage to this King Reynard. And he then engages the Count in this deadly duel with electro swords. So we get a little sword fight, defeats him, forces the Count to jump into his own castle moat and swim for his own survival.
Wow.
So Romana frees Strella, the royal party's reunited, Grendel's disgraced, and presumably on his way to exile.
All right.
So there's my comparison. So if you enjoyed Death and the Queen, you might enjoy the Androids of Tara.
And, it's a Tom Baker, right?
It's a Tom Baker.
That's greatness.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very cool.
Speaking of
yes.
Tom Baker, I think it's about time we get back to some TV episodes.
I think so. This was a nice change of pace.
I know a lot of people
yes.
enjoy. I know a lot of people enjoy the bit when we do the Big Finish audios, and that's
yes,
awesome.
We did.
We obviously enjoy them as well. But
Absolutely.
But we are here. Doctor Who is a TV show, so let's.
Yes.
So I think as we continue to try to fill the gaps until the Christmas episode.
Yes.
Which we still don't know the title for.
No, we don't.
Which is a little frustrating, at least. But,
as we're recording this, we're at the end of August.
Yeah. This is kind of like, this is what, August 28th.
Yeah.
And we still don't know the title for the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even who's in it. We don't know anything about it just yet.
Right.
So, although there have been some rumors that, maybe John Barrowman returning as Captain Jack, but we don't know.
No, we don't.
We don't know for sure. That's just rumored speculation. We don't know.
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, I thought, let's get back on where we were. Now, last time we had done TV, we talked about Planet of Fire, which was a 5th Doctor episode.
Right.
So kind of going down our descending order, I think
yes.
it's time once again for a 4th Doctor story.
Don't we have a mutual friend who loves the 4th Doctor?
I would say so.
Yes, and I'm not talking about Ken Schaefer. Take a drink.
Yeah. Actually, we're talking about my co-host on the Phantom Zone podcast, Karen Lindsay.
Yes, and my co-host of Storming the Castle, still needing to do our final episode.
You still haven't recorded the final episode for that?
We have not recorded the final episode.
It's, to quote Ferris Bueller, it's over.
I know. Yes.
Go home. It's over.
We did the crossover with Castle Cast, but we want to do the 4 of us just one by ourselves, and we've had difficulty getting it scheduled.
Okay. Well, that's all right. Maybe because somebody's in New Jersey.
No, I won't take that for this time. But it was when I was in Lubbock, Texas, maybe. But no, we just have all had various things going on.
Okay, so bad scheduling.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
no problem. Just a little teasing. So let's do a 4th Doctor story, and I've talked to Karen, and she's up for joining us for this one.
Good.
So I think we'll cover The Deadly Assassin,
Ooh.
which I believe I've mentioned before on this podcast, which is it's actually a solo Fourth Doctor. There's no companion. But it is a big episode because the Fourth Doctor goes back to Gallifrey. And there's a nice, nifty little bad guy who you may remember. His name is the Master.
Okay.
So it should be worthwhile to you. And it's a really good story and really interesting to see Tom Baker working without a companion.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
And Tom Baker's Doctor on Gallifrey. So you can just imagine how the Fourth Doctor gets along with the Time Lords.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And it's
good.
And it's also the first appearance of Barusa, who ends up becoming the Lord President for a brief time.
Okay.
So
good. All right, got it.
So that's what we're going to cover next week. So, or not next week, but the next time. It may be a couple of weeks before we record again, but depending on schedules.
Yes.
But that's what we're going to cover, and hopefully you guys start watching Deadly Assassins, so you can know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So, Charles.
So, Jesse.
How can someone find you?
They can find me. We do want to talk about where they can find the podcast first.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Let's talk about that. So, Next Stop Everywhere. You can reach us on Twitter, on the Twitter machine, as Karen likes to call it, at Next Stop SMG on Twitter. And we didn't get any feedback this time, but you can write us to us at nextstopeverywhere@gmail.com.
Yes.
And then we've got Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast on Facebook. You can reach us there. Let us know what you think. If you got any suggestions, comments, whatever.
Yes.
And feel free to like us on Facebook. That'd be great. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies.
Yes.
Help spread the word, my people, of Next Stop Everywhere.
And always
go ahead.
Appreciate you going to iTunes, rate and review us. When most people look for a Doctor Who podcast, they go to iTunes or Stitcher or they go Doctor Who podcast. And the more ratings we have and the more reviews we have, the higher you show up in the search.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Google Play Music does that too, but you can if they do ratings there as well, please rate us there.
Exactly.
Because now we're doing that we're on Google Play Music, that would be nice.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely.
All right, Jesse, where can they reach you?
I am at Jesse Jackson DFW, and by the way, I had a nice thing happen to me. Someone tweeted...
As opposed to a mean thing?
Yes. Most of the time when I'm confused with the former presidential candidate / civil rights leader,
yes,
there is hate and anger sent to me.
Which is not cool, people.
No. So what was lovely is someone said... my favorite speaker, along with Reverend Al. Keep up the good job.
So it's actually a positive confusion
with
the other Jesse Jackson.
So I had to say thank you for your kind words, but I'm not him. I'm a podcaster obsessed with Doctor Who and Bruce Springsteen. And the guy replied back, I'm so sorry. That's funny. Keep up the good work. The Jesse Jackson from Dallas for president in 2016.
Nice.
So I thought that was like, how nice of him. That's great.
That's good. Well, I'm glad he was very pleasant for once, as opposed to what you've been getting lately.
Yes. So at Jesse Jackson DFW, I am about to start my podcast on ¡Halt and Catch Fire. We'll be
I've watched the first 2 episodes of that, and it's great.
It was really they were back in full force, and so good to see it. So I'll keep we'll keep talking Whovian topics with Charles.
Hey,
because that's the best.
That's what we do. Then
that's right.
We're both Doctor Who fans, and it's great to talk about the show, even when the show's not on. We can hopefully get you through the dark times until we get some new Who.
So how about you, Charles? Now that we know how to find me and the show, how do they find you?
Of course, I'm at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine or at Charles Skaggs on Instagram.
Yes.
Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus. Shout out to Karen.
Yes.
Facebook, of course. And my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about Doctor Who, Next Stop Everywhere, and all kinds of comics and sci-fi goodness, all kinds of geeky stuff. So if that's your thing, please check out my blog, and hopefully there'll be something on there that you enjoy.
Absolutely. Cool.
And I should point out on the Phantom Zone podcast, which I do with Karen Lindsay, who we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
We're going to be doing a special live episode of the Phantom Zone podcast on Saturday. We're going to be part of this event called Geekonomicon. Which is a special podcast marathon that's going to be tied in with this comic convention, Comic-Con in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
But it's going to be going on all weekend, and we're going to be covering, we have a special 1 hour segment slot between 6 and 7 on Saturday, 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, which would be Saturday, I believe, the 3rd of September.
Yes.
So if you're, please check us out.
That's awesome.
We're going to be doing that. And help support Geekonomicon because it's a benefit for multiple sclerosis.
Oh, nice.
Which is a subject near and dear to Karen and my heart.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure yours as well.
Indeed. But there is a special connection.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is awesome. All right, man.
Yep. So we're gonna do a little. We're not gonna review like we normally do because we only have the 1 hour segment and we're not gonna have any guests. But we're gonna kind of tease the upcoming television season of comic book on TV shows. And,
nice.
And hopefully not embarrass ourselves live before everybody there at the convention.
Yeah, and for just as I was doing, one of the things I did, not only did I see Bruce perform, but I went on a tour of Ashbury Park and basically, the Bruce Springsteen trail of history. Mm-hmm. And as we made a stop. We went through Red Bank, New Jersey, and Neil and I asked our tour guide, is there any way we could stop at the Secret Stash? And he said, no one ever knows who Kevin Smith is. Absolutely. And they were filming.
Now, the second is Jay and Bob's Secret Stash, which is the comic book store run by Kevin Smith.
Exactly. And they were filming Comic Book Men, and so we could not go in. Oh. But we did get our picture taken in front of him. So
I would be pissed off if I went to that store and be like, dude, I want my comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me in the store.
Yeah, I didn't get my pool.
What's up with that? I'd be like, look, I'm going to a different store. Screw you guys.
I assume they post in advance to their regular patrons. This is going to be the thing.
I would hope so. But like, why don't you just film that after hours?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
So, thank you, Charles. I appreciate it. It was a blast.
Just real quick, I forgot. We're going to post some links on the Phantom Zone Facebook page.
Okay.
About Geekonomicon if you're interested in checking it out. So
please do.
We'll post the linky links, and you can get some more details if you're interested. But so that about does it for right now for this episode of the Phantom Zone podcast. I apologize. Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast. That's on me.
And so
do we have a quote?
Yes, I do. Keep hope alive, and they leave because they should. Or they find someone else, and some of them forget me. I suppose in the end, they break my heart.
Nice.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you,
listeners. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.